Welcome back to all of my friends, my fans, and my fellow FTFLers to the longest weekly running episodic fantasy football update show out there. That's right, boys and girls. The FTFL weekly update is back. And oh, by the way, so am I, your host, the owner of the Hulkamaniacs, and still reigning, defending, undisputed champion of the FTFL. That's right, folks. It is I, Brett Sieber, and welcome back to the show. Week 8 is now officially in the books. We are into the second half of the season, and Eric still has not tasted defeat. 8-0. When will it end? Will he run the table? Will he dominate the regular season and lose in the playoffs? That's why we play the games, folks. That's why we play the games. Now, it was Eric's bright spot for the South this week as the North took the weekend 4-1 and now holds the, at least in the head-to-head weeks, we hold an 8-7 lead on the year. Now, one thing that I know Eric is not going to have to worry about for probably a long time is the Fantasy Reaper. Now, my question, though, is does any of us have to worry about the Fantasy Reaper? Sure, the Fantasy Reaper took Matt. Okay. As if no one, had any sort of bold predictions otherwise. And then the Fantasy Reaper took Jeff. After losing 4 in a row, what did Jeff do? He promptly scored 125 points, came roaring back. So I'm not entirely sure if this is fact or fiction, if this is something we need to worry about. Now, of course, I am not worried because I have this, the Immunity Idol, the league championship title. I'm protected. I know last week I may have been on location somewhere else. This week I am back in the friendly confines of the ice cave, and I ain't afraid of no ghost. So, we're moving on. Now, speaking of moving on, how about moving on up or bringing on back? The FTFL Weekly Update would like to give a warm round of applause and welcome back Aaron Rodgers. You are home. Now, I know a lot of you saw that trade, like a 10th round pick for Aaron Rodgers. Good God, that was ridiculous. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even make the trade for myself. I made the trade because I thought, you know what, the Packers played a whole lot better when he was part of the Hulkamaniacs. Let's go ahead and see if we can revive some of that juju. It did not work against the Buffalo Bills. I would argue it was their best game of the season. You're like, Brett, you're an idiot and maybe a delusional Packers fan that belongs on the list. I say nay. However, him coming back did help me get off the schneid. I had lost 3 in a row. I finally won. Markser, who had lost 4 in a row, also, as we mentioned earlier, got off the schneid. 2, however, still remain on. Matt, the yang to Eric's yin, 0-8 on the season. And Adam Salmarsh, who got out the gates hot, has now lost 3 in a row. Speaking of Matt, involved in a trade this week, the second trade of the week, Davante Adams is now no longer part of the Architects team. He, along with the 14th round pick, were shipped to make America great again for David Montgomery and a first. I think the joke is on Sid. Davante Adams misses Aaron Rodgers. And that's the bottom line because the champ said so. Speaking of Sid, here we go into the games. We're off and running, making America great again, coming in at 6-1, taking on the Mixing Cocktails at 5-2. North leading Andy, chasing Eric Sid, and this one was tight. 97.5 for Andy, 95 for Sid. If you're Andy, Jalen Hurts could be the league MVP when this is all said and done. That dude has made a jump. They have surrounded him with the talent, one of the best offensive lines in the business. Only injury probably stands in his way. Dalvin Cook, 16.5. CeeDee Lamb, 12.5. Tyler Bass, 11. Najee, the man he traded away Miles Sanders in the second round pick for, continues to struggle. 5 points. Kyle Pitts, who he also traded for, on the bench with 12.5 points. This was Andy's 4th win in a row. Those trades really turned the tide. His team has taken off, and he is not looking back. If you are Hagen, woo, close. You were on a heck of a run, fell short. Kirk, it's no longer Kirktober Cousins with 22 points. I was telling people this week already, who are all giddy up and jazzed. Vikings 6-1, Packers 3-5. Like, oh yay! In of course the sad, terrible way that delusional Vikings fans celebrate. I reminded them it's no longer October, it's November. Football gets real in November, and every time football has gotten real for Kirk Cousins, he fell flat. Will that happen again? I suppose in fantasy it doesn't matter to Sid, or will it? Tyreek Hill, 18 points on the week. He is the number 3 wide receiver in our league. Yet, he only has 2 touchdowns, and both of them were scored in the same week. This dude is a receptions and yardage machine. For number 3 in the league, Jason Myers, 14.5. Daniel Carlson. In some ways, I kind of feel like this is Daniel Carlson's revenge on Sid for being a Vikings fan. Daniel Carlson has not ever, in the last 3 years, recorded 0 points in a game. Daniel Carlson, over the last 3 years, has averaged 10-plus points a game. Now, if I do the Browerville math correctly, 2.5 points was the difference. Daniel Carlson this week, yep, you guessed it, folks, big, fat 0 without Ekeler in his lineup because he was on a bye. Sid didn't have the ammunition at the ready, and he falls to 6-2. Andy rises to 6-2. All right, speaking of another falling team, the Monkeys coming into 4-3, taking on Mana, 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking and entering, title stealing champ Mana, and/or Thievey McThief face, coming in at 3-4. This was the Log Cabin Bowl reprise. And Jeff, as I mentioned earlier, off the schneid with a huge performance, 125. Saltmarsh with 109, nothing to sneeze at, but not enough to get it done. A.J. Brown for Jeff, my God. A.J. Brown, 3 touchdowns, absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. 22 points for DeAndre Hopkins. He has 34 points in his 2 weeks back from his suspension. Can he stay clean? Time will tell. Jeff Chubb, holy cow, put on one hell of a performance. 20.5 points. Lamar with 18, his best week in a few weeks, but still not Lamar of the first 3. Jonathan Taylor. We've been talking about him all season. 4 points for Jonathan Taylor. Through 8 weeks, he has 44 points. Last year at this time, through 8 weeks, he had 107 points. The Colts are in disarray. Jonathan Taylor, could he be got for cheap right now? Will he come back next year as a fantasy stud? I don't know. Instead, Jeff could have played Travis DeBozo Etienne, who had 17.5 points. Also could have played Jalen Waddle with 22 points. Both those players on his bench didn't bite him in the end because, of course, well, he won. If you are Saltmarsh, Kyler Stupid-Face Murray, 30 points. Deontay Foreman, who the moment Run CMC was shown the door, Deontay Foreman said, "Bout damn time. Give me the ball. Let me do my thing." 26 points for him. Stephon Diggs, 15. Evans with 11. Taysom Hill with a rare start at tight end. 4.5 points. Josh Jacobs, who had been averaging 15.3 throughout the first 7 weeks of the season, only netted 3. His hot streak comes to an end. Meanwhile, Jamal Williams, the league's number 8 running back, scored 17.5 points, was on Saltmarsh's bench. I don't know how you bench the number 8 running back. I know Josh Jacobs was in the, but still, I would like to think there's a flex position out, something. You got to get that guy in your lineup. That is Saltmarsh's 3rd loss in a row. He falls to 4-4. Marks rises to 4-4, and on to the unstoppable force that is the Pack Attack, coming into 7-0, taking on Dickweed at 3-4. This one was not even close. 139 for Eric, 72.5 for Dickweed. Tony Pollard. Ezekiel Elliott can't play. Tony Pollard says, yeah, let's keep it that way. 30.5 points for him. Derek the King Henry thundering back. I called him out earlier this season. You're welcome, Eric. You're welcome, King Henry. 26.5 for him. Josh Allen, 18 points. Boy, most weeks I'd kill for 18 points for my quarterback. However, this week, I got a couple more. That was his lowest of the season, 18 points. Amari Cooper, 16.5. Cooper Kupp, 14. Tampa Bay, 5. Tampa Bay with 5 points was the only person in Eric's starting lineup who was under 9 points. If you're John, there were brief moments in the past few weeks where you thought maybe this was when he turns it around. Instead, it probably isn't.
Welcome, FTFLers, to the graveyard. This week, The team who has no chance, that must claim their fantasy soul, has angered many in their division. People were not happy with you, that you were the only one not to accomplish this feat this week. Therefore, I say you are no more. Better luck next year. Now to the graveyard.
Let's see who we have tonight. That's gotta hurt. What do we got next? Oh, it's a little windy in the graveyard. Oh, rookies, kickers, and defense. Oh my. Oh yes. Long live the John boat. Oh yes. Oh, and the silence you hear is John catching a northern. Oh, we're getting closer. Yes. Oh, the only team to lose to the South in week 8. What a disgrace. Oh, I think we know who it is now. Oh, the wind has got us again. Linkowitz, a.k.a. Dickweed. Much like Fetus in 2001, your team has curled up in a ball and died. Ah!
He falls to 3 and 5. Jimmy G, John's favorite Jimmy, in the lineup. 16 points was all John could get his hands on at that point. Brandon Ayuk, 13 points. Saquon Barkley, 11.5. DeAndre Swift, welcome back, 10.5 points. Cole Kmet, the FTFL Weekly Update's favorite tight end. We love our tight ends here on the FTL Weekly Update. And Cole Kmet has one of the finest around. First touchdown for Cole since week 13 of 2020. He got 7 points. And Kenneth, I don't gain points well, only netted a half point for John. He falls to 3 and 5. Eric marches to 8 and 0. All right, folks, another week, another full mailbag. I've got a letter here. Just got to fire up the old machine. I'm going to go ahead and read this. Let's get into the right things. Here we go. This one, you know what? This is kind of one of those moments I'm a little embarrassed by. And, you know, I feel it right here. I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. This one's from my mom. This one is from my mom. It says, to my favorite son. Ooh. I'm writing you to congratulate you on your second win of the season. I'm so proud of you. Your hard work and dedication is paying off. It's okay to be in last. Thanks, Mom. In my book, you will always be a winner. Remember, everyone gets a trophy. Mom, not everyone gets a trophy, or maybe not the trophy that's sitting right here next to me. Yep, that's the one. I thought I had another one over here. Hold on. It fell. It's really sad. I don't know why it fell. We'll get to that later, I suppose. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. All right, it says, and, hey, another bright spot is you. Matt and Peter now hold top, bottom 3 out of... What the... Another bright spot is you, Matt, and Peter now hold top, bottom 3 out of 4 spots and lowest points scored. Matt, 531, Brett, 561, 2017, John, 572, and Peter, 575. Keep reaching for the stars. Love, Mom. Now, I have reason to believe this is not from my mom. I actually have reason to believe it's from whoever the damn number muncher is, because I'm really tired of that crap. This was not a chart anyone wants to see. I tore the big, stupid purple chart down. We're done talking about this. Please, number muncher, stop keeping track of this. I don't care, nor does anyone else. And a thank you for watching the show and being a fan. I appreciate at least that much. All right, speaking of the show, speaking of the champ, speaking of the Hulkamaniacs, coming in this week at 1-6, taking on the Valhalla Vandals at 2-5. And oh, by the way, I am still the rightful owner of the hammer. Take that, Peter. Suck it. All right, 92 points for me, 83.5 for Peter, which, of course, in Inver Grove Heights and Browerville math, 83.5 is less than 92, making you the loser, Peter. Aaron Rodgers, king of the pack, man of my heart, 20 points, one of the best quarterback performances I've had all season, led me to victory. T. Higgins with a Monday night save. My goodness gracious, T. Higgins. Whew. You came through in the clutch, my friend, 13.5. Aaron Jones, Jason Myers both had 12 points. Rondale Moore, 19.5 on the bench. Romeo Dobbs, 12 on the bench. Could have used both of them. In the end, didn't need it. It is my highest point total of the season. And as I said earlier, I am still owner of the hammer. Here, 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 here. All hail Odin. That's right. I'm the king, not you. All right. If you're Peter, run CMC with 30 points. He ran for one, he caught for one, and he threw for one, which was really wild. Geno Smith, 16 points. Young Hui Koo netted 14 points. 4 at 6 or below, which of course makes you, again, unless I didn't say it enough. Wait, what happened? Where's the light? Turn it on. Oh, gosh, what is... Well, now they're back on. All right. You know what? The trophy fell over again. Gosh darn it. Keep this up. It's like the 5th week in a row. 4th week? I don't know. Unbelievable. Gabe Davis, 3 points. So much for Gabe Davis's revenge game against me. In the end, it didn't matter. You lose 2-6. I rise to 2-6. Both of us still kind of somewhat sort of in playoff contention, but it sure feels good to be a winner this week. Last up, D's Nuts coming in at 4-3, taking on the hapless, winless, hopeless Architect at 0-7. Almost got doubled up. 114.5 for Adam, 65 for Matt. Alvin Kamara. Not entirely sure if he was just happy to get off the Hulkamaniacs, but of course, as part of our team, he was a champion. Not sure we can say the same thing for D's Nuts. Time will tell. 36.5 for him. He scored not only his first, not only his second, but his first 3 touchdowns of the season in one game. Joe, the mistake Burrow, coming in with 20 points. Phillies defense 14. Miles Sanders 10. It is Adam Swartz's 3rd win in a row. He is also streaking. No, don't get too excited, Jeff. That's not what I'm talking about. If you're Matt, DJ Moore, 23 points. Antonio Gibson, 13.5. And the 6 of his players were at 5.5 or less. He traded away Devontae Adams. I'm not entirely sure who he's keeping next year. Will he win? I asked earlier if Eric would lose. What's more likely to happen at this point? Eric losing or Matt winning? I think it's more of a dead heat. All right, let's hit the stud, the dud, and the cringy and get up on out of here. Stud of the week, easy. Alvin Kamara, 36.5. A.J. Brown, 35. Both of their teams, both of those scores, huge contributions to a winning team this week. Dud of the week, Daniel Carlson. You've been averaging 10 plus, although if you did this on purpose just to screw Sid, that is an FTFL weekly update seal of approval. 0 points for Daniel Carlson. Cringy, the man that Sid thought he had on his team, which is why he traded for Alexander Madison. Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook on the team he was playing against this week beat him. That's kind of cringy worthy. Also, Peter having to be told to change his lineup minutes before kickoff is very much so cringy when you're fighting to stay relevant and maybe you're just giving up. I don't know. Maybe, throwing games runs in the family. You should try all the way through no matter what. All right, looking forward to week 9. We got a huge game in the South. The Pack Attack coming in at 8-0, taking on Make America Great Again at 6-2. Mixing Cocktails 6-2, taking on the Valhalla Hammerless Vandals at 2-6. D's Nuts at 5-3, taking on the champ. Best of luck to you, son. 2-6 for me. Mana, 4-time Lucky Pants, breaking, entering, title stealing, Thieving McThieve face champ Mana coming in at 4-4, taking on Dickweed at 3-5. And last but not least, the Monkeys at 4-4, taking on the Architect Monkeys have lost 3 in a row. Architect have lost 8 in a row. Who is gonna break first? I guess time will tell, my friends. Thanks once again, as always, for tuning into the show. And until next time, peace. No, you know what? I was absolutely worried. But now, I'm not even entirely sure how much I believe in this. He was totally wrong this week. So, at this point, dude, don't worry about that. Back to the original target. We won last week. I think we still got a chance if we can just keep getting him to do what he did last week. So, fingers crossed, my friend. Hey, thanks a lot. And yeah, man, absolutely. We'll catch you soon. Peace. Fantasy Reaper. Oh, stupid.